And we are live. Hello, hello, and welcome to a Gen 2 Draft League captain interview. And today I have joining me James. Hello, James.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Happy to have you. Thank you for being on. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Um, my draft um rank has dropped a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but
A little bit.
uh, I'm persevering.
It's a tight league. It's a tight league
hmm
overall. A lot of things could still change. Well, yeah, let's just jump into the questions. So, I mean, the first one is a simple one, an easy one, hopefully. How have you been enjoying the league so far?
I have really enjoyed it. I think each match I learn like something new, especially like practicing in between matches and figuring out like what works and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I like when I played just regular like story mode of Pokemon, it was very much like I would just do whatever the strongest move was, and I didn't really think about strategizing at all.
Yeah.
So figuring out like what synergizes well with other things and like how other players are like strategizing in their turns and stuff like that, and being able to like predict how people are going to play. It's like learning something new, which is nice.
Yeah. Cool. So, a lot of learning, sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the mainline games don't really. I mean, first of all, it's all singles, so different format. And then they don't really challenge the player very much, in my opinion, for the
Yeah.
most part. But, kids' game, I guess, that's how it's got to be.
hmm
Um, Speaking of moves and strategies, and you talked a little bit about guessing what your opponents are doing. Is there a particular like strategy or maybe a particular move used by maybe one of your opponents that has most surprised you?
Um, your that explosion really surprised me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was not expecting that to come out because I just sort of assumed it was never going to be a good option for you. Um, I knew it was there, but
it
yeah.
was it was questionably good. I think I lost. Did I lose that game? No, I think I won that game. The game with the explosion, I can't remember if it was one of the ones I won or not.
Yeah, I don't actually remember.
I think I
Um,
did win that one.
I remember it throwing me off though a lot.
Yeah, because I don't think I brought. I think the game I lost was the one I didn't bring Golem.
hmm
I bring in Miltank instead. But yeah, that is pretty surprising. It's funny we had two explosions in 1 week. I don't know if you saw Lily's game against Greenlee, but there was another explosion in that one that was pretty devastating.
I'll have to
So
go back and watch it.
yeah, it's something to watch out for. The explosions. Okay, cool. Switching gears a little bit towards your team and the Pokemon you have. Uh, which Pokemon on your team is your personal favorite? So more like in terms of design and just maybe personal attachment necessary, like rather than overall strength. I mean, it could be the same for both, but yeah.
That's a good question. I do have like a little special place in my heart for Furret because I think it's such a cute design.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think in one of my early like Soul Silver runs, I like kept Furret through the entire thing just because I um, really like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I also like Hitmontop just because the like sprite does a little dance, and I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of that dance.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool little dance. I mean, those are both good Pokemon too. Like those are strong Pokemon. I mean, for it, yeah, follow me is a strong move. That makes it strong enough. I was really
Mhm.
worried about Furret in the matchup against you. So, yeah, I think it's something teams are gonna have to watch out for going forward. Now that you started to show it.
Yeah,
Um,
new unlocked strategy.
yeah, for sure. Is there a Pokemon that sticks out in terms of strength that you think is the strongest one? I mean, I think maybe there's a clear answer here, but I gotta ask.
Yeah, there is there is a clear answer, but I'll give the like second answer, which is that for alligator has been really great. Not quite as good as my Kangaskhan, I feel like was um last league, just because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like its move options, I kind of rely on having a lot of like different typing options
Mm-hmm.
to handle different scenarios, and I feel like Kangaskhan was a little bit better at that. But for
Yeah.
alligator, still very good, and I'm a big fan.
Yeah, Kangaskhan. Yeah, they tend to give normal types a lot of different moves. So like Kangas being normal helps with that, and then fake out utility is pretty good too. But I mean, yeah, for alligator's been insanely good, really hard to deal
Hmm.
with, and now that you're starting to use some Dragon Dance with it, man, that's scary. One Dragon Dance can turn that thing into an absolute beast. Very hard to remove. Uh, okay, cool. Well, that kind of transitions naturally into my next question, which is, are there any? Oh, as Google tries to talk to me, are there any Pokemon? Uh, I guess what are the underperformers, and then what are the overperformers on your team? Like, especially relative to maybe the draft position.
Um, hmm, that's a good question. I do think Espeon turned out to be quite a bit less useful than I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if that's a product of the way I'm using her, or if it's a product of like it just not being strong in very many scenarios that come up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I have been a little disappointed. And a little bit of Umbreon too, because even though its special defense is really high, um, it kind of needs a little extra for its defensiveness to be um, like as tanky as I was hoping it would be.
Yeah. I. How do you think it compares to the Vaporeon you had in season one?
Vaporeon kind of felt unkillable a lot of the time, um, but I always feel like there's an answer to Umbreon. Um, so I feel like it's a little bit of a downgrade,
Yeah.
but not like a massive one.
Yeah, not massive for sure. I Espeon, I feel like, is also sort of in a similar boat to Alakazam from your season one team. So there's a little bit of parallels there.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe it's a typing thing. I'm not sure,
I
but I feel
do
like it just doesn't come up that much.
I do think Espeon has kind of a rough time into some of the best Pokemon because if you look at things like it's not doing anything to Tyranitar, it's not doing much to Lugia, so it's got a bit of typing issues. Scizor is a big threat that it doesn't handle that well. I mean, it's neutral into some of the other ones, but I think that's part of it. I think with Furret, you can unlock Espeon a little bit more because Espeon's one of the big downsides is how frail it is, but Furret can protect it a bit, and maybe that could be something.
Hmm.
I've also been
Yeah.
thinking about Espeon being frail is pretty rough, but one thing you can do is Moltres is getting all these special attack boosts for free, and Espeon can run Psych Up, which copies a target's like boosts. So I've thought a little bit about that, like in some of my practice versions of your team, like I have Espeon with Psych Up because it comes out and it just copies the Moltres, and then suddenly now you have two strong special attackers. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. It is tough to use, just I
I
think because of how frail it is.
hmm I also think it's just like a lot of the time feel afraid to be leaving Espeon out without some sort of protection,
Yeah,
um, just because it feels like it's going to go down so quickly.
yeah. It pretty much goes down at one hit all the time.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh well, do I want to use Psych up here, or do I just want to get some damage out with it?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's also Gen 2 is especially bulky field. Like, for whatever reason, I just feel like there are a lot of very high special defense Pokemon floating around.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, tough time. Uh, and then I think, did you say an overperformer? I mean, we talked about for Alligator, I guess. You think that's the
Yeah.
biggest overperformer?
I I think for Alligator kind of was meeting expectations. Like I did pretty have pretty high expectations for it
Mm-hmm.
when I chose it. Um I don't know who would be the overperformer. I do think like for it was much better than I was expecting. I really didn't expect it to be as useful as
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of turned out to be. Um uh and also Lantern was kind of like the early weeks where I was using Lantern, it felt a lot more useful than I expected when I picked it.
Okay, nice. Interesting.
It's like ability to like slow down opponents is useful because it can slow down both, and it has both Icy Wind and Electro Web, so it has two different types that it can do that with,
Yeah, that is nice.
depending on which one's more useful. Um, so yeah, a good option for a little bit of chip and also a little bit of support.
Yeah, it's pretty bulky too. You can get caught against it, and if you don't have the right typings to hit it, it can feel really difficult to remove.
Hmm.
All right, cool. So I want to take this time to ask also. I asked captains last season if they were gonna stick around for Gen 2, so now I gotta ask: are you planning to stay with us and play another generation in the Gen 3 League upcoming?
Yeah, I think Gen 3 and Gen 4 are the ones I like have the most memory of playing the games and enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
the most playing them. Um, so I'm definitely sticking around.
Okay, great. Glad to hear it. Well, that means that I have a question for you about keepers because we have pretty much decided, or we have decided we're going to be doing keepers going forward through all the generations. And so I'm wondering from your team, who do you think is keeper material, and who are you sad is maybe not going to be able to make that cut as a keeper?
Hmm. Um, I am sad to lose Hitmontop a bit because I'm probably not going to pick Hitmontop. Because a big part of its usefulness is the fake out, which,
Mm-hmm.
if I remember right, I was looking a bit into Gen 3 and there's quite a few fake out options
Yeah.
there, and so I'll be able to find an alternative. Though I guess having two wouldn't be too bad, but um, yeah, I'll miss the little guy. Um,
And his dance.
and yeah, and this little shuffle, cute little shuffle.
Yeah.
Um, I'm probably bringing for alligator is my guess. Because there is a little part of me that regrets not bringing Kanga, even though obviously Moltres has been like MVP of my team for 2 leagues now.
Yeah.
Um, but tragically, they have to die now.
Yeah. Can't keep it
Um,
forever.
yeah, no, it being kicked out of the bash, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's aged out.
Yeah. So probably bringing for alligator. It's the one that makes the most sense. But
Yeah.
also maybe there's a world where I pick Umbreon, depending on like once I look into my like draft strategy for Gen 3, I will probably have a better idea. Like where feel like I might end up being lacking and need a little bit of help.
Yeah. That makes sense. Pick order also makes a big difference as well, like where you are first pick versus eighth pick, can change what you expect to
Hmm.
get in what round. So yeah, can make a big difference. But yeah, for Alligator looking really good, and for Alligator's got a brand new Mega Evolution. We will be using the Mega Evolution mechanic in Gen 3. Um,
Hmm.
so that's really exciting. Yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
it could be really strong. Fifth pick there. Okay, cool. Let's see. Going back into, I mean, at this point, we are going into week 7. So you've played almost every opponent. The only exception is Brian with the Singing in the Rain. Um, I don't know. Maybe you've looked at that matchup yet, but you've looked at most matchups, if not all of them, at this point. Do you
Hmm.
think, uh, or I guess, which of these matchups do you think is most favorable, and then least favorable, just on paper? Not necessarily player
Uh,
skill, but like just on paper, yeah.
um. Hmm. I don't know if it was a product of how I performed, but I feel like, well, no, because I was gonna say Carter, but like I could handle Typhlosion pretty well, but outside of Typhlosion, I felt like there was a lot of holes that I couldn't fill in terms of like what I could handle and what I couldn't. Um,
Okay, interesting.
but maybe that's not true. I don't know. That might just be um how I performed. I think Robin's team was really tough. Um, Even prepping for that one, I felt like I was kind of trying to do too many things because I felt like there was so much that I had to prepare for with against her.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, yeah,
I
especially
I
because
oh, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say because I don't have like too much experience. A lot of it ends up coming down to how much I prep for the matches, in terms of how I'm going to perform. And um, like I'm bad at improvising in the moment and knowing what to expect in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
um, which puts a lot of pressure on that prep time. And if I feel like it isn't going well or something like that, then I feel like I'm going in a little blind.
Yeah, yeah, that's tough. I mean, prep is a lot of this league. The matches are only about 20 minutes, you know, at most,
Yeah.
and so much of the time is just research and preparation and stuff like that. I did actually just interview Robin and ask the same question about best and worst matchups, and she said that her matchup into you was her best one. So I think you're in agreement there that that's a pretty rough one.
Uh-huh.
Um, but speaking of best matchups, what do you think is your best one?
Um, I felt like I had a lot to handle against, um, sorry, I don't remember Lugia's team name. Um,
Chris,
Chris, yeah.
the
That one I felt
Sinnoh
pretty
Kingdras. Yeah.
Sinnoh Kingers. I felt pretty comfortable in that one. I didn't really feel like there was that much that I was worried about going in, which may have been holes in my knowledge, but um, I felt pretty comfortable with the prep on that one.
Yeah, I think your team matches well into Lugia in particular. Like Umbreon is very good into Lugia. Obviously, Moltres has the type advantage there, so I can see that. That does make some sense. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Cool. Um. Well, as long as we're on the topic of matchups, you've played almost everyone. Is there anyone that you are hoping to rematch, maybe in the finals, that you'd most like to get a second crack at?
Um, hmm. I feel like our match was really good, and I would like to play you again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I feel like depending on my placement, we might actually end up facing pretty early on in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Um, I also want to face Greenlee again because I feel like there was a lot of potential that I missed out on in that game, due to like some bad decisions I made in both prep and in the match. And I would like to give it another go and see how that goes.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, this league could be tough because depending on how the bracket shapes up, sometimes you just lose to a team and you never get the chance to try again. But
Hmm.
yeah, you definitely. I think you have a shot there. Like, I think if we both lose, or if you win and I lose, then we will be matched against each other. Which is, I really hope that doesn't happen because I think that if I were answering the question about matchups, I think that my matchup. Oh no, my matchup against you is one of my hardest ones, if not the hardest. But I mean, I don't
Hmm.
know. It's tough. I have a couple of hard ones.
Yeah, well, I'll be facing that Bellossom again, that fairy, Terra Fairy Bellossom.
That's true.
Uh,
That is pretty good. But if you come
yeah,
up with something for that, then
mm,
it gets hard.
yeah. Well, I'm waking up in a cold sweat thinking of it. So.
Yeah. Well, awesome. It was pretty good. Uh, okay. Speaking of, well, we're talking about scary Pokemon that make you wake up in a cold sweat. What do you think is the scariest or maybe the best value pick like across the teams?
Hmm, a good question.
I mean, it could be Blossom.
Bellossom was good.
Yeah.
I
There's a
think
lot of other.
Smeargle was also pretty good.
Oh yeah.
And who else? Hmm. I need to watch more of the replays because, especially people that I faced earlier on, I didn't go back and rewatch their replays as
Mm-hmm.
much. So I need to get an idea of like how they've changed and how they're performing later. Um, Porygon or Porygon 2 was um a menace to deal
Yeah.
with in a lot
Yeah.
of ways. Um,
That Pokemon's it just heals itself if you don't kill it, and it's hard to kill.
mhm. Um, so yeah, I guess between those three.
Okay, nice. All right. I mean, yeah, Smeargle is pretty scary. You never know what it's gonna do. It was tough and for you, I think, especially because it's just the faster fake out user. So I just fake out your fake out, and there you go. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, Smeargle. I name it. I think the nickname I keep giving it is like the literal devil or something, or like Spawn of Satan or whatever, because I know people hate that Pokemon for good reason, honestly. But yeah,
Hmm.
okay, cool. Well, I want to go back to something you said like earlier on in the beginning of the interview about how you've like learned a lot going through, and you talked a little bit about the lessons, but I have a question for you, which is just what is your biggest lesson so far from this season, or maybe even because you're a veteran of 2 seasons now, maybe across both seasons. What's like the
Hmm.
big lesson?
Um, I think the biggest lesson is like learning how to balance um using status moves and using like attacking moves.
Mm.
Because there were definitely points where I was like using status moves in situations where it didn't really make sense, or like especially really early on in the first league. I think you mentioned it, but I was like using protect way too much in situations where it didn't really make sense.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I think that just came down to me not like correctly sussing out the like ebb and flow of like how I where when I need to be more offensive and when I need to be like kind of shoring up my team to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think kind of like getting the intuition around that uh, is the big lesson.
Yeah.
Don't use protect as much as I do.
Protect is an
Like,
interesting Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't gonna say anything.
Okay. Yeah, protect is an interesting move. I mean, it's kind of the linchpin move for doubles, whereas in singles it doesn't. It almost doesn't feel very good most of the time. It ends
Hmm.
up like in doubles it's huge because there's almost always this 50-50 of like, well, they could protect and any Pokemon can learn it, and yeah, it ends up being the most used move every week.
Hmm.
If you look at the move stats. So yeah, it's adjusting to that, especially from your experience of like being a singles like casual player, where you probably never clicked protect, like for any reason in the main game, right? There's just not
Yeah.
really a reason to. But yeah, you end up having to do it a lot once you're playing doubles. So yeah,
Hmm.
interesting one. Um. Okay, so I think I have some more like fun questions. Um, as we are moving towards the conclusion here. Um, the first one is if you had to swap your entire team with another, where you're going to play that team instead of your own, which team are you picking?
Mm.
And that could be because you think it's the best, or just because you think it'd be the most fun to play.
I do think Carter's team would be very fun to play because I was very close to picking Murkrow, um, and I had Sneasel on my list of Pokemon to pick. If I didn't get Hitmontop, I was probably gonna pick Sneasel for their Fake Out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it does just seem like a fun team with a lot of options um, to play around with.
Yeah, yeah. The Murkrow Typhlosion is very, very scary, and it when you're playing against this team, you can't send out a lead that doesn't deal with that combo, because if that combo comes out, then you just lose instantly. So
Hmm.
yeah, that is a pretty fun one. Okay, interesting. I like that. I like that. Speaking of teams, we talked about, okay, so that's the one you want to play. But what about the team names and logos? Do you have a favorite there?
Um, hmm.
I can pull it up also if you don't remember it too well.
Yeah, I'll probably need them pulled up.
Oh, sorry. My cat's sitting on my keyboard, which is making this a little harder than usual.
Mhm. I could tell because your like thing was tabbing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's like that's definitely a cat sitting on the tab.
Yeah. So we got the Sunny Shore Wakes, the Ho Horn Dogs, the Black Death, Sinnoh Kingdras, Scrambled Egg,
I do like that logo. I really like that logo.
Corner Commanders, the Umbreon's Reunion Bash. Oh, that's you, right?
Mhm.
With your donated logo. And we got the
Um,
Singing in the Rain.
I think Singing in the Rain is a fun name. Um, and I think I really like Scrambled Egg too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's just so simple and sweet, and also that logo is so good.
Yeah, me and her made that one together, so I'm pretty happy with it. The the shuckle right up next to the camera is great.
Yeah, slightly blurry because it's a little too close to the camera.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, that was. Let me get back to the draft data. Don't know that we'll need it again for the rest of this, but okay. Second to last question is, I just because you're a veteran and you're the first like Gen 1 veteran, I suppose that I'm interviewing. I'm really wondering how this season's experience for you compares to the first season, the Gen 1 league, and just your thoughts on differences in the field, difference in is in your experience? You know, those kinds of things.
Um, I think I came into the second league putting a little bit more pressure on myself because with the first one, the expectations were pretty up in the air on how I felt like I was going to perform.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I ended up like performing a little better than I was expecting. Um, and I learned a lot in that first league. And I've definitely learned a lot in the second, but I've also felt like, oh, well, you kind of have a decent idea now. So I
Mm-hmm.
was expecting a bit more from myself. Um, and it's tough to know yet if I've met that expectation or not, but we'll see as the playoffs come.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
mostly.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I do think like this is much more competitive of a league, just in terms of the players. Like, I think these players, some of the players that left have been replaced with players that take it a little bit more seriously, or have like a bit more prior knowledge of the competitive scene. And so
Hmm.
I think like, you know, I just say that to like, you know, it makes sense to expect a little more of yourself, but also like it's getting harder at the same time. So yeah, it's been tough.
Hmm.
Any
Yeah.
other?
Well, I've definitely like I can feel the weekly improvement each time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of it is just sort of like exposure to various scenarios that I just need to like I need to see them and experience them before I can like be able to prep or like instinctually have a good idea of what people are thinking themselves. So yeah, like the little by little improvement is nice even in this league.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on like the selection of Pokemon? Like, how do you like the Gen 2 Pokemon compared to the Gen 1 Pokemon? Or do you notice a lot of differences between them or anything like that?
Um, I feel like I really like a lot of the designs of the Gen 1 Pokemon. Um,
Uh huh.
Johto has a lot of Pokemon that I like too, but I don't know. Gen 1 just has so many iconic Pokemon that it's tough to compete.
That's true. Yeah, it's the first one. It's hard to beat for
Hmm.
iconicity, as it were.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, thank you. I was excited to finally get to interview you and to interview someone who's been through 2 seasons. I'm looking forward to the seasons to come. I mean, I got plans to go all the way through to the Gen 9, and by the time we're done with that, Gen 10 will already be released. So I'm looking at 10 generations. I don't know who will
Yeah.
stick around the whole time. You know, life circumstances change, but hoping to run it all and hoping to get as many people as I can to stick through. So thank you for
Mhm.
sticking through at least the first couple seasons. I'm looking forward to Gen 3 and 4. So
Yeah.
before we close out, James, just want to ask you one last question, which is for all the fans of the Umbreon's Reunion Bash out there who are, you know, eagerly awaiting you to turn this team around and make a deep run in the playoffs. Well, what do you have to say to them?
Well, what I have to say is that I've been in the lab, I've been trying things out, I've been experimenting, I've been prepping. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm excited to show some like a couple new things off and we'll see how they go.
All right, that's very exciting. I'm sure the fans are going to be very glad to hear that. Uh, okay, James. Well, thank you for joining me for an interview. You were one of the captains I missed last season, so I'm glad I got to get you this time. Thanks so much for
Hmm.
being on.
Yeah, thank you for hosting.
Yeah, happy to do it. Happy to do it. And that's all we have. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope everyone's having fun with the Gen 2 League, and good luck to everyone out there. And yeah.